Friday night. Ray, how you doing? Good evening. Catherine, good to see you. Hey, Erica, Stephanie. Good afternoon, Tanisha and Erica. Hey, Ashley, Sean. That's for a reason. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Felicia, Renee, good evening. Melanie, thank you for joining us. Cheryl, hello. Miss Lucille, Aldrina, hello. Lenora, hello. Jackie, hello. Andre, thank you so much. We appreciate that. What's up, Bobby? Good to see you. Angela, good evening. Rudell, Brooks. Well, I'm doing that for a point. I have a point for that, Brooks. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Beth Ann, hello. Good evening, Donna. Good to see you. Talia, hello. Alicia, happy Juneteenth to you as well. Denise, good evening. Darian, good, thank you. Hello, Erica. Tamara, hello. Beverly, hello. Thank you for joining us. Shakira, good evening. Terentia, hello. Ada, hello. Leona, thank you. Caitlin, no, not today. Elise, thank you. C. Nicole, yes, it was good seeing you in the store as well. Glad you joined us for real. Bedell, good evening. Cheryl, I think you owe me a call. Cynthia, good evening. Miss Flo Robinson, hello. Tanya, hello. Sarah, hello. Jerry, thank you for joining. Melissa, hello. Erica, I'm going to talk about that. Harry, hello. No, that's why I wore it, Harry, because I knew that some of you Cowboy fans were going to come up with that mess. So I need to deal with that. Priscilla, hello. Hey, Sherry, Tammy. Thank you, John. Thank you for joining us. Georgiana, thank you. Tony, hello, Tony. Neldra, thank you. Kenya, good evening to you. Hey, Judy, hello. Drusella, good evening to you. Tylee, blessings back to you. Beneska, hello. Annette, hello. Good evening, Bruce. Hey, Tylee, we're here in Pula. Thank you for joining us all the way from Pula, where it's cooler. Toinette, hello. Angie, hello to you. Hey, Jareen. Hey, Jareen. Mandy, good to see you. Jean, good evening to you. Gail, thank you for joining us. Valeria, good evening. Good to see you. I see Brenda Middleton on there, so I might need another appointment. Jackie Jones, Brenda does great massages. I mean, she does great pedicures and manicures. So, yeah, I went and got it done. Yeah, check her out. Latoya, hello. Laura, hello. Good evening, Coach Bell. Good to see you. Hope you're feeling better. Jewel, hello. Hello, Chris. Ashima, hello. Elonda, hey. Maisha, thank you. Thank you, Annie. I appreciate that as well. We'll get get started in a moment. Glad to have you, Lorena and Kieta. Thank you. Austin, good to see you, sir. Natasha D and MJ Mama. Hello, happy Juneteenth. Yolanda, thank you so much. Sharon, good evening. Katie, hello. Let's see. Good evening. All right, Jennifer, all the way from Connecticut. Trey, that's what I've been trying to tell them. Let's go Giants. Cynthia, hello. Barbara, good to see you, Barbara. Happy Juneteenth to you. The last people who need to be hating on us are Cowboy fans. See, here go Marlon, another one. Go Cowboys. Social distancing is the Cowboys from the Super Bowl. That's social distancing. Felicia, thank you. Angelique, hello from Atlanta. Toya, hello. Vanessa, hello. Raya, hello. Tim, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Kathy, hello. Hey, Sister Shirley Frazier, all the way from Hinesville, Georgia. Thank you for joining us. Vicky, hello from Guyton, Georgia. Hey, Eric, I see that you joined, man. I need to talk with you. Lori, thank you so much. Angelia, hello. Net, good to see you. Sheila, hello. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate that. Again, we'll give it a couple more hellos and then we'll get started. Rashard, thank you. Samantha, I'm glad the week is over. Walter, thank you so much. Angela, hello. Michelle, thank you so much. Ashley, I'll answer that question in a minute. Mo, good to see you. Good evening, Eric. Renee, thank you. Beth Ann, thank you. I will let you know about that. Hey, Mary from Washington State. Marlon, thank you so much. Mark, thank you. Carrie, men do need to take care of themselves. Thank you, Patricia. I saw Reverend Debbie Morris. Good to see you on, Reverend Morris. You better preach Sunday, too. Vanessa, thank you so much. Trakia, thank you. Michelle, hello. Eliza, thank you. Happy Juneteenth. Hey, Angie Brown, Melissa. Good to see Angela all the way from New York. Thank you, Rashad. I appreciate you. Bertha, good evening from T-Mobile. T-Mobile was having some problems a couple of days ago. Erica, let that go. Cowboys for life. No, Cowboys to death. Barbara, thank you. Donna, thank you. I will tell it like it is. Nisha, hello. Freddie Stevens, hello. Thank you, Bobby. That's it. That's it right there. Vanessa. Mark says go Pats. We'll see how good they are without Brady. Hello, Charmin. Renee, hello. Jamie, you don't feel well. I hope you feel better. Valeria. Happy Juneteenth, Maria. GJ, thank you. Thank you, Rob, for driving those trucks. We appreciate you. And the Scott family is on. Jessica, thank you. Shanika, hello. Vera, hello. Hey, Miss Beatrice. Beatrice, good to see you. Rob, thank you so much. Deborah, hello. Marty, hello. Rob Mitchell, Southside Savannah, thank you for joining us. Evening. Hey, John McMasters, thank you for joining us. Janice, thank you. Rob. Denise, thank you. Who else is on here? All right, we're going to get ready to kick this off. Let's get this kicked off. So thank you. We're just so glad you joined us. We'll go ahead and get started. We want to be respectful. Hey, Michael White. Hey, Mike, all the way from Hawaii. Thank you for joining us. Deborah, Eagle for life. We know how long that lasts. Jeffrey, we're doing the best we can. Hey, good to see Brittany Curry, Inky Brittany. She does great work. Check her out. Audrey, Delusional, Cowboys for life. Let that go. Connie's, happy Juneteenth. Mark, happy Juneteenth. Asia, thank you. I'll talk about that in a moment. Sunny, hello. Randy, hello. Rob, hello. Thomasina, hello. So I'll get started. So we appreciate you, appreciate the opportunity to be with you. You know what that is. If it's Friday night and we're in the middle of a pandemic, that means for us that if it's Friday night, we're in the middle of a pandemic, we are keeping the faith and following the science. That means that you're sitting home like me with no life because I'm not really going anywhere. And so, as you know, it is Friday. It is time for our Friday Night Live. This is our get-together. This is our date night. This is how we just hang together and we just talk about stuff that's going on. Hey, Darnell Pullen, I will see you tomorrow morning at Kingdom Life. I mean, 8 o'clock is a little early for me on a Saturday, but I'm going to be there. Honored to be on your panel tomorrow. So, a couple of things I wanted to talk about, and then we'll kind of get into the meat of it. So today, is Juneteenth, and we talked a lot about what Juneteenth is. A lot of people have asked about Juneteenth, and I mean, and actually, it's quite gratifying that people really have this very large interest in what Juneteenth is. And in short, Juneteenth is the day that, and it's called different things. It's called Freedom Day. It's called Jubilee Day. It's called Liberation Day. It's called Emancipation Day. And it's essentially what happened was this. As we all know in history, on January the 1st, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation that essentially freed the slaves in the southern half, the southern half of the country. In other words, the slaves that were a part of the Confederacy. He signed the Emancipation Proclamation, and because we didn't have Facebook and Instagram, we didn't have Twitter, we didn't have phones back then, we didn't have the modern conveniences. And there's a bunch of reasons why, but it took the word to get from Washington, D.C. to Galveston, Texas. It took 2.5 years. 2.5 years that it took 2.5 years for the word to get from Washington, D.C. to get to Galveston, Texas. So 2.5 years, you had slaves who were free as of January 1st, 1863, but they did not know that they were free. To go further, you had slave owners that were treating their slaves like they would continue to be slaves for 2 more years, even though the law had changed. There was an order, there's a proclamation, and yet they still, for 2.5 years, treated these indentured servants, these slaves, as if they were slaves. And I could only imagine in that 2.5 years, there were people who were actually free that died and did not realize that they were free. Their mentality was, I died a slave, when in fact they were free. So what do we celebrate? Why do we celebrate Juneteenth? Juneteenth is the combination of the words June and 19. You put them together, you get Juneteenth. And it is a day of emancipation. It's the day that finally everybody believed in the country at the time that they were free. Now, we recognize really that history will show you that the Emancipation Proclamation really did not free any slaves. And further, the Emancipation Proclamation was really Abraham Lincoln's way of being able to save or preserve the Union, because slavery had become that type of divisive issue. So, I mean, in the final analysis, President Lincoln did what he did. He'll always be remembered as the president that freed the slaves, and I mean, and that's fine. We know that the slavery was not outlawed until the 13th Amendment, and so the 13th Amendment, I'll quote it, basically says that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crimes whereof the party have been duly convicted, shall exist in the United States. And that was the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment actually abolished slavery. So that's what Juneteenth is. And yes, and I think the important thing is that this was not Black history. This is not Black history. This is American history. And the unfortunate part is, what we have to say is, these are the types of things that we have to teach in school, because this was history. And I think for far too long, we've gotten into this thing of this being Black history. No, Black history is American history. The fact that slavery played so much of a role in 1863, that President Lincoln really built his presidency and will be remembered for this Emancipation Proclamation. And the fact that now 2.5 years had passed before people really realized that they were free. So, we have to stop saying it's Black history. It's American history. And I hope that while we're in this time where it's everybody's talking about it, and it's now, everybody's happy Juneteenth, because, to be honest with you, a lot of black people didn't know it either. I mean, it's true. They didn't know. But maybe this is our opportunity to make sure that we're teaching it in our schools, we're teaching it in our communities, we're teaching it in our families, because the reality is, beyond the fact that slavery was horrible from the 1619 through 1863, but yet the tragedy to me is still that you had, thousands of people that died and never had the realization that they were indeed free. So this is why Juneteenth is so important. And I mean, again, if you didn't know, you didn't know. That's one thing. The difference is that now you know. And now that you know, you have the opportunity to tell a story, research about it. We are celebrating today American history, because this is a story of our country evolving. And our country did evolve, and it has evolved, and we're moving to where we were. I mean, in 1733, when General Oglethorpe came over and founded what was known as Savannah, one of the prohibitions was you didn't have slaves, but yet they had day laborers from South Carolina that came over here to help to build Savannah. That's history. Those are facts. Who you think cut down all those trees? Who do you think, helped to plan those squares that, 287 years later that we are enjoying and that we say are beautiful? The point of the matter is this, beloved, is that for us, we have to embrace it all. And we should not pick and choose which part of our history is. We have some very dark places in our history, and we need to acknowledge it, we need to embrace it, but we also have great places in our history. We need to continue, and we need to embrace that as well. The most wonderful thing for it to me is that right now, the best history has yet to be made. And I believe deep in my heart that where we are at this point in time, this critical juncture, in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of demonstrations, this is the time that we will be able to change the trajectory of our city, of our state, of our nation forever. Hey, Lisa, good to see you, Lisa. Lisa's like the baddest funeral director like ever. I mean, she makes you look better dead than you ever look living. But anyway, good to see you, Lisa. But so that is it. We have to make sure that the history is told. And the way you make sure that the history is told is that first you have to research it. Then you have to know it. Then you have to tell it. If you don't tell your history, then it is left to the interpretation and the telling of those who might choose to warp it to fit a certain point of view. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, happy Juneteenth. And today, I proclaim today in the city of Savannah as being Juneteenth Day in Savannah. I'm not sure if it been done before, but we have proclaimed this day a ceremonial holiday in our city because we have to make sure that history is told. And so that's what we have done. We have observances going on all across the community. If you can do it, look them up. Go visit them. We need to make sure that we understand our history, and we have to make sure that we don't repeat our history. So to all of you, whether you're black, white, green, polka dot, everybody, happy Juneteenth. Let's take a quick moment and let's wish everybody a happy Juneteenth, because it meant that for thousands of slaves, millions of slaves, we finally got it right. Happy Juneteenth, happy Freedom Day, happy Liberation Day, whatever you call it. Come on, y'all. Let's show some love. Happy Juneteenth. And again, and understanding that we are also recognizing and we're also respecting and we're also honoring the lives of those people who were enslaved, lived and died their entire lives in slavery, and never had the benefit of being free. That's what this is all about. So we honor them. For them, it is their shoulders that we stand. It is them who prayed for the day that black people would have the abilities to do some of the things that we're doing. They prayed for that. It was the work of people of all races who worked in this community across the country to make sure that we have some of the opportunities that we have. And I'm grateful for that, because out of the 67 mayors we've had in our city, 67, only 4 of them have been black. Only 4. But yet we were able to get to that point where the community was able to hopefully vote for someone on the content of their character and not the color of our skin. That we got to a point where we were able to elect 2 females to the office of mayor. That we got to the point where we were able to elect an African-American president. And hopefully we'll be working on an African-American either vice president or certainly a woman president in the near future. And I hope and pray I get to see those in my lifetime. So that's where we are. Happy Juneteenth in Savannah. It is a holiday here, and we are grateful for it. So Juneteenth. Second thing, this is my mask. It is a good mask because it is able to show the greatest football team that exists. And this was made for me. You see the mask. Now, the mask or face covering is to be worn when you are outside of your house or in the company of people. That's what the mask is for. If you're home by yourself, like I am, then you don't need a face covering. Or if you're driving in your car, you don't need a face covering. The face covering is my way of saying to you that I care enough about you to protect you from me. Because people think that them wearing a mask or a cloth face covering is protecting them from the elements. That is not true, according to the CDC. What it's saying is that I care enough about you that I'm going to protect you from me in the event that I'm sick. Because we know that if I have on a face covering and you have on a face covering, then the ability for the aerosol effect of the virus to get from my mouth or nose into your mouth or nose is now greatly diminished. That's what that's all about. And so for you, that's what this is all about. I care enough about you to protect you from me. When I don't wear a mask in the public space, what I'm essentially saying is I really don't care about you. If you are sick, that's your issue. If I'm sick and I infect you, that's your problem. And if we're going to be the just and caring community that we say we are, then that is why we wear face coverings. Now, again, this just happens to be of a great football team. And so for those of you who like inferior teams, you can wear them. But it's important that you wear them, except if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. Dallas Cowboys, their mascot full of holes, just like their defense, just full of holes. Just you can just run through theirs, but no, it works too. But that's what this is all about. So why are you saying this, Van? I am telling you that we are in a pandemic. The second thing I'm telling you is that we are in trouble. We are in trouble. We are setting records now for the wrong reasons. And I want you to listen to me very clearly. Very clearly. Today, June the 19th, we had 31 cases in Chatham County. 31. That is the single highest day so far in the 100 and was it 110, 107, 8, 9, 10, right? 110 days of COVID-19. The highest single day is today. 110 days. Our highest day is 31 cases. I'm afraid tomorrow is going to be worse. I want you to listen to me. The second thing, in the past 7 days, we have had 128 cases in Chatham County. 128. It is the single highest 7-day record so far as COVID-19. Okay? The past 7 days, 128 cases. Now, some of you might get some other numbers. Now, some of them might be for the Coastal Health District, which includes several counties. I'm giving you the numbers for Chatham County. So June 19th, 31 cases. The past 7 days, 128 cases. The 7-day rolling average, we are averaging about 18.3 cases a day. For the last 7 days, 18.3 cases. That is the highest 7-day average so far. 18.3 cases a day for 7 days. And then the 18.3, the highest 7-day average over the last 7 days is 3 times the average from 10 days ago. 3 times more than we had 10 days ago. I'm telling you that we are in trouble. We've had 6 Georgia Southern students that's been reported of being infected. We are seeing clustering of cases now, what they're calling super spreaders, that people are in places where they should not be, and they are infecting people at very quick rates. Right now in Georgia, we have 62,000 COVID-19 cases, 62,000. We have 2,600 deaths. In Chatham County, we're at 743 cases today, and we're at 32 deaths. But again, we are at our highest rate. We have been in this place for now for 110 days. 110 days, and instead of getting better, we have gotten worse. Now, let me just talk a little truth. And the issue for us is this, is that we have a lot more people on our streets. They're not wearing masks. They're not wearing face coverings. We have our citizens. And again, I've seen many more of us wearing them. And when I see you, you know, I shout you out. I ask you where your mask is or where your face covering is. But we have this, and people are infecting people. Our numbers are going up. And I mean, people could say what they want to about this being real. Why don't you ask some of the people who died from this whether this is real or not? Let's just be real. And so for those who want to criticize about the Democratic or the Republican convention, let me be very clear. If they were Democrat, if it was Republican, if it was a church convention, I don't care who it was. I was not going to be in favor of large-scale conventions coming to our city at this time. Be very clear. Because for us, it is not safe. I am praying for the people of Tulsa, Oklahoma, because they're about ready to pack 19,000 people into an arena to hear the president speak. I'm sorry, I would have to be able to watch a president speak on YouTube or something. We already know that large crowds are part of the reason why these viruses are able to spread. And if any of you ever have known anything or ever been in the same building with the President of the United States, and I've been several times, they will open the doors 4 hours before the president gets there. As a matter of fact, usually when the doors open, the president is still in D.C. The people will be in there for 4 hours before the president is to speak. Then he'll speak, and you have speakers, so it lasts about an hour and a half. So you have people in this contained space for 5.5 hours. 5.5 hours. And many say they're not wearing any masks. They're not wearing face coverings. So could you imagine what Tulsa, Oklahoma is going to look like when this is all over? Y'all keep those folks in your prayers, because, I mean, to me, that is absolute madness. Madness, madness, madness. To that end, yesterday, we convened something called Savannah Faith. And this is a big shout out to our faith community. We have a wonderful, wonderful faith community. I had well over 100 faith leaders that are participating in this. And they came up with recommendations for churches. Now, churches, mosques, synagogues, and temples. And the thought behind it was this: who am I? If the Lord told you to open, then you do what the Lord tells you to do. You know, that's between you and him. For me, my role, it was to be able to do two things. One, be able to provide some recommendations. And so we had some wonderful clergy from the 100 that were a part of this group. And it's called Savannah Faith. One was Rabbi Robert Haas. One was Imam Ibrahim from the Muslim mosque, Masjid Jihad. Ibrahim al-Malik. We also had Bishop Thomas Sills. We had Pastor Lolita Hickman. We had Reverend Billy Hester that served on this committee. And they worked with us. They worked with Dr. Lawton Davis of our healthcare community. And the goal was to do two things. One, to come up with some recommendations. And so they were saying, if you're going to, right now we recommend you don't open. And the funny part for me is some of the people who are complaining about churches being closed don't go to church in the first place. I had somebody sent me a message and they were like, well, who are you to be telling me, I can't go to church? I said, what church you go to? She said, I don't go to church. Well, then what you worried about it for? Anyway, so these members of the clergy, these respected members of the clergy, essentially said, we recommend you do not open right now. But if you do open, here are some recommendations. And they gave us 33 recommendations that we've put out. It's also on my page. And so it's out there on my page. So please take a look at it. And again, it's a lot of work. But we think that right now, churches, houses of faith need to be closed. We want you, to be okay. We want you to be safe. We know we had a church here that opened up and people got infected. We know we want you to be safe. We're convinced that God is bigger than the building. God is not being contained in the building. The building had nothing to do with God. The building is just a building. It's just where people congregate. The power is in the congregation, and the power is in the connection. You could be in the building all day long, but if you don't have the congregation and you don't have the connection, then what is it all about anyway? And I will tell you that our local clergy community has done a wonderful job in making sure now, you're able to go to church, synagogue, mosque, temple, unlike ever before. I've gone to more churches lately because I just go to YouTube, I go to Facebook and see what the folks are doing. And these churches have done a wonderful job. Our houses of faith have done a wonderful job, and I salute them. Thank you so much. Thank you for doing that. And again, God is bigger than the building, so we thank them for that. So, where do we go from here? I told you we're kind of in trouble. And two things. First of all, and people will ask, why haven't I shut the city down? Well, the reason why I have not shut the city down is because Governor Kemp currently has an order that prohibits city governments from taking any actions that are more restrictive than his order. So right now, theoretically, it is against the law for us to close down anything. So that is why clubs and bars and all that stuff is open, because the governor says it can be open. So they could be open. I'm not going there. I'm just not. If I slip out, it might be with some real strict conditions, because we know that clubs and bars are where people closely congregate. So that is why a lot of these things are still open. But what I'm going to do, and what I am doing, is I am requiring Savannahans to wear a mask. I am requiring Savannahans who I love, who I serve, to wear a mask. I'm requiring you to wear a mask. Now, this you have to listen real closely, because this is getting ready to get deep. I'm requiring you to wear a mask. I'm saying to you, if you care about our community, I am requiring you, please, because you care about us, because you care about your city, to please wear the mask. I'm requiring you to do that. Now, if we're us requiring, and again, you have a right to be, if you don't see people, ask them, hey, where's your mask? If you don't, then I might get to the point where I have to mandate that you wear a mask. Me requiring you to wear a mask doesn't involve criminal penalties. I'm requiring you to do it. But if you don't, then I might have to mandate it, in which we'll be taking money out of people's pockets, and we're trying hard not to do that. We know you need your hard-earned money, but this is so serious that this is serious. We need you to be okay, because we care about you. We hope you care about us enough to be able to do that. So the requirement comes first. Mandating comes second. Then we're going to have to really talk about what we do. So I know some of y'all are saying, mandated. But again, I want to require it first. I want to make sure that people have an opportunity to do that. Okay? And believe me, there's a method to the madness. There's a method to it. There's a method to it. But I'm asking people to do the right thing. So I'm requiring you to wear a mask. Okay? because once we get into this other part, there'll be no turning back. And I want to make sure. Maisha, of course, is a Giants mask. I mean, is there any other team but the Giants? I mean, bam! Look at that, beautiful. So please, and I'm asking all of you, all 500 of you that's on here right now, please. This thing is so serious that it is so important that you wear your mask, please. Okay? That we need to do that. So, moving on. The General Assembly is in session, and I only have like 2 more things to talk about. Hopefully you're liking my page. Have you liked the page yet? Please share this video. Share the video. If y'all can help me out, share the video, and also make sure you like the Mayor Van Johnson page. If you do that, people have said that we don't know when you're coming on. If you like the page, then you'll get the notices when we're coming on, okay? So this is Juneteenth, and this is a wonderful and remarkable time in our history to be able to really have hate crime legislation in the state of Georgia. A little bit off of my Friday night topics, but there are 4 states that do not have hate crime laws and do not require collection on hate crimes. 4 states: Arkansas, South Carolina, Wyoming, and Georgia. Arkansas, South Carolina, Wyoming, and yes, Georgia, where we live. We do not have a hate crime law. We do not require collection of hate crimes. So therefore, the Ahmaud Arbery case cannot be tried under a Georgia hate crime law because we don't have one. Now, it might be able to be charged under the federal hate crime law, but we don't have one in Georgia. And I'm asking the general legislature and certainly for you to take the time to contact legislators and let them know this is real important. We need a hate crime law in Georgia. And again, it's very simple, and I've heard various versions going through. I know that Senator Lester Jackson has done one. I like his version best because we don't need it watered down. A hate crimes law should be very clear and very specific, because we can't be the best state in which to do business and the worst state in which to live. Get that? We talk about it's the best state to do films, the best state to do business, but we're going to be the worst state in which for residents to live. So, here we are. A hate crime law needs to have these things. They need to cover certain types of crimes that are committed on the basis of race, color, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability. I mean, I've seen all kinds of other stuff being thrown in there. No, it needs to be very clear. Race, color, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability. That's what it needs to be. And then you accelerate those crimes, accelerate or add harsher penalties for committing those crimes on those bases. So, you should have what's called biased motivations. Biased motivations, I did this because you were in one of these protected classes. So biased motivations is one. The second one is penalty enhancements. So if you've done this, for example, if I did an aggravated assault on a person, it's one thing. If I did it on the basis of their race, color, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability, the penalty goes up to that. That's what hate crimes are. That's how we protect people. And in Georgia, that's how we need to protect people. So bias, motivations, penalty enhancements, and finally, data collection. Right now, if you ask someone, how many hate crimes have there been in Georgia? The answer will be 0. Why? Because we don't keep that data. This week, we observed the anniversary of what happened in Charleston, South Carolina, at Mother Emanuel AME Church, where people were gunned down by a young man named Dylan Ruth. And they were killed because of their race. But if you ask South Carolina, how many hate crimes do you have? The answer will be 0, because South Carolina does not have a hate crimes law. That's why it's so important. We have to create the data. If it's not calculated, if it's not measured, it didn't happen. So that's the deal with that. So we need a hate crimes law. We need your help. Please help us. Contact your legislatures. Do me a favor, send a couple of emails or hit them up on their Facebook pages, and just say, hey, we need a hate crimes law. We need to protect people. That's what we're supposed to be about. So that's my spiel on hate crimes. Next thing, of course, I got to say it would not be Friday Night Live if it was the census. Juneteenth. We don't know how many slaves made the transatlantic trip. We don't know how many slaves served in servitude. We don't know how many slaves died in servitude. Why we don't know? Because we were never able to count them. We didn't count them. But yet, here you have an opportunity to be counted. What I'm saying to you is that you count. You count. You matter. You count. But it means nothing for me to say that you count if you don't believe that you count. And if you don't believe that you count and you don't take the moment to make sure you count it, then how could you count? I want to make sure you're counted. So again, y'all have been great. We've been creeping up slow, and I'm convinced that is due to all of you. Go to my2020census.gov, my2020census. I'll even type it down for you. My2020census.gov, my2020census.gov. It only takes a few minutes for you to be counted. Go ahead and let's get that done. Also, we want you to be counted, okay? You matter. You're important. We want you to count. We need you to count, okay? So do me a favor. Take that link, my2020census.gov. Please take that link and post it on your page and remind people to do it. You count. We want to make sure you count. It takes less than 10 minutes. And again, we have to make sure to get this up, okay? So thank you for that. And finally, we're going to get you out of here a little earlier today. Finally, Sunday is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all of our fathers listening in, all of our fathers. Much love to our fathers. We appreciate you for who you are. We appreciate you. Correct. Oh, let me go back. Thank you, Leah. All right. So some of y'all are saying Chatham County saw 58 new cases since Thursday. That's true. Chatham County saw 58 new cases. We're saying 31 new cases. I need to get that reconciled. I think the 58 is for the district. I think 31 is for Savannah. So I'll check that and make sure that we get it right. All right. But anyway, fathers. You all are special people. And I think sometimes we spend so much time looking and shouting out bad fathers. Every morning now, I get up and I have a chance. I watch at least a couple of the Steve Wilkos shows, and I still watch Maury shows. And the sad and unfortunate part is here we are in 2020, and we are still saying, Maury, this person, that's the father. He looked just like him. See, Maury? See, he got his mouth. I mean, and you don't know who the father is. Well, what I'm saying to you right now is, sir, you are the father. Thank you. Thank you for who you are. We spend so much time shouting out bad fathers. I want to take a moment to shout out good fathers. Thank you. I want to shout out those good men. Thank you. Those papas and pop-pops, being godfathers and grandfathers. Thank you. Thank you for all of you that are on here that are fathers. Thank you. I know you don't get as much love as the mothers get on Mother's Day, but I want you to know we appreciate you for what you do on seen and unseen. And I know that usually Father's Day is kind of crappy because I know they treat y'all kind of crappy. I know what you get because you go to TJ Maxx and all the Brute by Fabergé is gone. All of it. All the socks are gone. All the ties are gone. I know. But this year, they're going to do better for you. Children are going to do better. Wives are going to do better. They're going to do better. They're not going to buy you no Brute. They're going to buy you some Sean John, or they'll buy you something that they'll buy you something. And they're going to get you some polo shirts, not no Fruit of the Loom shirts and stuff. No, they're going to do some things. So if you want to take a moment to shout out your dad, we'll let you go ahead and do that. But, if there's somebody out there we want you to shout out, we'll do that. And we'll do that before we get up out of here. To the good dads, we want to call their names in the atmosphere. And to those who've lost their dads, we want to send our love out for those of you who've missed your dads. Dads are so important. They are important. Because for a couple of reasons, is that, and I've seen this throughout my time dealing with that. Tony Jordan, happy Father's Day to you. And let's see, who else? Robert Green Sr., Sandra, Sandra wants to wish you a happy Father's Day. Y'all buy Brute. Y'all buy Brute by Fabergé. High Karate and gray flannel and all that. I have so many bottles of that stuff. Shouts out to Don Wilson. Also, rest in peace to Horace Magwood. Big Mag, yes, we miss Big Mag. Cleveland Lovett, we show love to you. Thank you so much. Hey, my big brother, Van Kennedy. Great, thank you. Dr. Webb, greatest doctor ever. Your baby girl loves you. To all dads, we're sending out the love as well. But, y'all know y'all give those things. I had a whole drawer full of Brute by Fabergé. It's just Brute. It's just, I didn't know people still wore that stuff. But then people do smell it because it has a very distinct smell. And when you smell it, you're like, oh, yeah, High Karate and Tussie. I mean, come on. Really? Spend some money on Dad. Come on. Jerome Williams, happy Father's Day. Thaddeus Moxley, happy Father's Day. James Graham, happy Father's Day. The Jackson fathers are real. Thank you. Hey, Yolanda, thank you so much. To Jake Bowers, the fourth, and Jake Bowers, was that the fifth? Michael Johnson is the best papa ever. Anthony Wright, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Happy Father's Day to you as well. Anthony Wright, happy Father's Day to you. Oh, yes. Yeah, see, that's Stetson, too. Yeah, and I think I only got one bottle of that Stetson. But, yeah. So all the fathers, we appreciate you. Pastor Jimmy Green, happy Father's Day. Oh, yeah, Old Spice. Yeah, you remember that. Michael J. Anderson, hey, rest in peace. Yes. So I'm sending love to him. To John Williams, happy Father's Day. Alan Murchison, happy Father's Day. So we're thanking you. We thank you. Yes, thank you. To to the late great Charles Frazier and David Cummins, thank you. Alan Murchison, thank you as well. To Eric Wilford, thank you. Nathaniel Pugh, hello. Emmanuel, thank you so much. And the thing about dads is this: to the best dad ever, Jim Herring. And of course, I have to send out my love to my father, Van Johnson Sr. So sending out love to my father as well. And Tony Buck, and of course, Bishop Matthew Odom, thank you so much as well. Happy Father's Day to you, Bishop. But it was true. There is a difference when, and I mean with kids, and they've seen it, when you have kids that have daddies. And I've seen when you have a young lady, a little girl in particular, who is loved and adored and respected by her dad, young dudes treat them real differently, because a good father will let a young lady know that she does not deserve to be treated like that. And I will tell you, growing up, I mean, if I was going to talk to a young lady who had an active dad in her life, that's a thing when that dad is looking you up and down. I mean, I remember once, I'll tell you my business, went out with a young lady once, and he said, "Let me talk to you, son." And he put his hand over my shoulder, and he said, "Son," he said, "the most important thing in my life is my daughter." He said, "As a matter of fact, she's more important to me than my wife." He said, "She's pure, leaving this house, and she better be coming back to this house." I remember that to this day. I had her back to her home so quick, it was just like, look. Because again, it was a daddy there. That, if you have a daddy who dotes and takes time and treats, they don't fall for just anything, because they know by example how a dad is supposed to treat them. And keep in mind, it's not that to be a dad in the house. It doesn't have to be a dad in the house. The daddy doesn't have to be there. He just has to show the love and let her know that she's a princess and let her know she's beautiful. When they hear from their dad they're beautiful, they don't go running to the first knucklehead that tells them they're cute, because they already know they're cute. So that's why it's important. And so when you have a young man who has a dad, a strong dad in the area in their lives, the fact of the matter is that he learns from that man. That's why it's important to have good dads. It's important to have that good example. I had a great example for a dad. I have a great example. That's why I'm all right. So that's important. We need great dads. And for those of you who you might be a bit estranged from your children, you may not be as active in the life of your children as you want to be, don't let anything get in the way of your relationship with your children. Okay? You may not be able to buy them all the stuff they want, but they don't need your presence. They need your presence. You hear me? They don't need your presence, Presents. They need your presence, Presence. They need you in their lives. They need to be able to call on you. They need to be able to talk to you. So this Father's Day, let's try something different. I mean, and there's issues with the baby's mama. Let that be those issues. But spend time with your children. They need you. And if you've been estranged, it's never too late to repair a relationship. Repair it. Fix it. Seek them out. Make it right. If you are absent, apologize for it. Own it. And then do better. Keep your word. If you're going to say you're going to do something, do it. And if you're not able to do it, then tell them that. Don't have them waiting on you and you don't show up. This time in our history, this time in our lives, we need strong men to step up. And we need you, brothers of all races, step up. If you made the child, love the child. And even if they're grown, I know very few women who don't still need their daddy. And to be honest with you, some of us grown men still love to have our daddy as well. I'm just saying. So this is a time for us to do better and be better. We can do that. We shall do that. I need your help doing that. Fathers, for Father's Day, let's stand up. Maybe the greatest gift you can give to your father during this time, to your children, is why don't you show up for Father's Day? Be there. Socially distancing, wearing your face covering. And for those of you who are going to eat, I mean, I know you take mama to these great restaurants and y'all take dad to Golden Corral. Well, Golden Corral here is closed. So take them and spend some money at a nice restaurant, socially distanced, of course, wearing your face covering except when you're eating. Spend some money on them, please. And buy them some nice cologne, please. You know, you could do that. Daddy deserves it. Papa deserves it. Granddaddy deserves it. Okay? So, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you joining us every Friday for Friday Night Live. I appreciate you spending Friday with me and making my Friday and my no life having self go a little bit better. You make it so much easier for me. You know, I got Netflix now, so I can watch Netflix and chill. But, you know, there's only but so many movies I can watch. I appreciate your interaction. But let us remember that here in Savannah, our situation is getting worse. We need your help. I'm requiring Savannaians and those within our city to wear masks. I'm requiring it. There'll be a point in which we'll mandate it. But I want to make sure we give the opportunity, because we're not going to take any prisoners when it's time to mandate it. Let's do the right thing. I care enough about you. I value you enough that when I'm in your presence, I'm going to wear a mask that covers my nose and my mouth because I care about you. All I'm saying is, can you care enough about me to wear the mask as well? Can you? Have a good Friday night. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless Savannah. Good night.